everyone. I see Tim over here doing something, so I'm going to just walk over and see if I can film over these ladies' shoulders.
It's like even though we've been making it, I knew I had that pink and lime green and that's there. All right. Let's see what's going to happen. And I've really never dipped this way. Let's see what this is all about. I'm already just thinking like really sky backgrounds and just different ways to run. And then this, so you see when I kept misting down there, remember the alcohol creates those spots? So if I just lay it down, so this doesn't overpower, it's going to dry and it's going to give me those little drips at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. It's awesome. It's really good. And you're going to get little felt fuzzies in there. You can get rid of them. But yeah, if you watch it, you'll just see that alcohol really evaporates super, super fast. It doesn't take long at all. Even though, I mean, we hose down that piece of paper, but we hose it down with alcohol, so it's different than water. And I love that crusty little bit right there. Yeah, look at that.
That is so cool.
Isn't that good? That metallic. I mean, to me, the metallic almost looks kind of pearly. Like when I put the color on it. It doesn't look like when you put it over foil where it's reflective, but I still like just that reflection. And again, you can stamp on it, you can do alcohol lift ink, you can really do anything that you want when it comes to working with things. So, any questions on anything?
What did you use to stamp the image?
So that is lift ink. I will go and steal the pad off the display. I'll be right back. And I'm saying that because I did it. You know what's going on. Go around and Colleen's right there and she's like, hello. I'm like, oh, hello. It's lifting. Okay. So alcohol lifting is an ink we released last year, I think, year before. They all run together. But it's an ink that is designed to lift translucent alcohol inks. It's really not designed to lift alloys or mixes. It's not designed to lift a pigment. It's designed to lift a dye from the surface and transfer it. So I'll show you how it works. It comes in an ink pad and a re-inker. There's actually a need for both this time. Usually in our stamping world, the obvious use for a re-inker is to re-ink the stamp pad, but this actually has a technique use as well, right? So let me show you how that works. We'll take a stamp, Monica, clean stamp. Yesterday, all these stamps, and I'm worrying about cleaning a stamp for no reason when I had a perfectly clean stamp right next to it. What is wrong with me? That was a waste of cleaning time. All right, so we're gonna take this, I'm gonna lift, I can lift off this sparkle, I can also lift off the buco, I can lift off of this drip. I can really lift off this, I'm really gonna lift off this blue dot. That could be cool. All right, we'll do a little bit of both. And then I'll take a piece of coated specialty stamping. Take a piece of coating. And this could be specialty stamping, this could be glossy, but it's not Yupo, it's actually a cardstock. So I want something porous for the next part. I'll show you just what I mean. So I'm going to take a stamp and I'm going to take lift ink, and lift ink is clear, all right? So we want to work on a clean stamp. If your stamp has ink on it, you'll want to clean it because the lift ink will lift the ink off of your stamp and dirty your ink pad, all right? And we're just going to tap that on there. And then we will go in and we're just going to stamp through this. So this one I'm going to stamp, I'll stamp some flourish right here. Stamp it down, stamp with purpose, meaning just give it some good contact, no need for CPR. If you have a stamping tool, a stamp platform, anything like that, feel free to use that. But we're going to lift it off. Now when we do, that ink that was there is now transferred onto the stamp. So we have dry alcohol ink that is on our stamp, but believe it or not, this ink is designed to re-wet alcohol ink. Okay? If you ever try to put alcohol ink on your stamp, it dries right away. You're like, I'm going to stamp with alcohol ink. I'm like, I think you are, but you're really not. But this is going to keep it wet, so if I go to a piece of paper, I can now transfer that color onto something else. Okay? And what we're getting is exactly how we lifted it. So darks, lights, exactly how this background was, dark and light, is exactly how it's transferred. But we still need to lift this. We haven't lifted it yet. That was just kind of the after effect. That's not what it was designed to do. This is what it was designed to. This was just like, oh my God, we can do that too. Yeah, I always love those happy accidents. So this, I'm just gonna wipe it off. That's just gonna clean off my stamp. And now I need to lift this. And when we lift it, we need to lift with something porous. Okay? A cloth isn't porous enough, so we need some type of paper towel, something that's gonna absorb the ink. And here's what we're going to do. I'll bring this right here. I'm gonna just start taking this and I'm gonna dab this down. And I'm going to look, see how it's lifting the ink? And I need to go to a clean part. Dab. So we're not swiping, okay? We're simply dabbing, we're lifting. And what this is doing is that's taking the alcohol ink that's there and it's lifting it off the surface. That's what the ink is there to do. And you'll kind of see that your picture is coming, kind of developing. You can see that flourish starting to appear. And this is really, really light. And I just look, make sure I don't have a lot of ink. That's why it's important to have a clean part of your paper towel. Otherwise, you'll just be doing this all day thinking it's still lifting. And then I'm just going to go in and just lightly buff that away. And that is our lifted image. Yeah, it's just a cool ghosted image into your background. And so we can stamp over the top of this, we can do rubs, but it's just a great ghosting effect with alcohol, right? Especially when we have our positive, negative. Now, depending on how much lift ink you apply, that could change everything. You saw when I inked up the stamp, I was like, right? Really juiced it up because I knew that if I had more lift ink on my stamp and I went into that, it's gonna pull a lot of it back. So there's other ways that we can go in and lift. We're gonna take some of the re-inker. We're just gonna take a little drop of that, put it right on our media mat. This is what you would use to re-ink this when it dries. It's what it's for. But if we wanted to use a stencil, I'm gonna take a piece of blending foam. So I'm gonna use a stencil. I don't wanna use felt because it's gonna catch into my stencil. So I'll just take that piece of foam. We'll find some sort of stencil. It doesn't really matter what I have open because I wanna use what I don't. Nothing better than opening a new package, right? I was like, but you used this yesterday. I'm like, no, that was yesterday. All right, so now I'm gonna take some foam and I'm just gonna pick up that lifting. Just get it right on the foam. That was just a drop, all right? Then I'm gonna take this and I'm just going and I'm just gonna pounce, okay? Could you go in and swipe and rub? You could, but you really don't need to. Because I want the lifting to really do what it's supposed to do. And it is lifting this, believe it or not. It's getting onto the foam, which is why you need a re-inker. Because if I put this back on my ink pad to get more lifting, I've now transferred this onto my ink pad. So that's why I want to choose a re-inker. So once my stencil is there, I'm going to lift it. So, same thing. It's going to go in. Just start dabbing this off, and I'm going to show you kind of a side-by-side of some different ways that we can go in and use a stencil, because sometimes, especially like in mixed media, we want layers that are subtle, right? Sometimes we want something that's just, it looks like it's, you know, it's just part of something really, really subtle and soft, and that's what's happening here. But sometimes we want a layer to just be like in your face, like look at me, right? So this one you can you see how soft and subtle that is? That little pattern? And that was simply because I dabbed it and lifted it off. But if you want more color, like you really want to get down to the core, you can still go in and just use it the way you would. You would take that lifting and really just start lifting that through a stencil. The same way we just do normal ink blending, you could go in and lift that surface. And the more color that we add, the more lift ink we add, the more it's going to go down to the core of that piece. Right? So you can see like on metallic on this side, we're actually exposing that metallic. You guys see that? Much brighter. And different substrates are going to be different. So for example, if I took a piece of Yupo and I did the same thing, Yupo is going to want to give up color way more than a metallic paper will, because metallic still has that layer of ink on it. Metallic has something that the alcohol ink is bonded to. So different substrates, where did the tool just go, people? Right here. Isn't that the case? Everywhere, right in front. No? Okay. And you just start seeing it. You see it kind of come underneath. But I'm not twisting and grinding, just dabbing and moving it around. But we still have to lift it. So even though we're pouncing and swiping, however it is that you apply it, we still want to go in and we still want to lift. Always with a clean paper towel. This one. That's what's cool about stencils. You just get some really great magic that shows up. Some really cool patterns.
Oh.
How's your hand, Zoe? How's everyone saying? I can see everyone's like, yeah, I need to stop this live in my arm. Yeah. But take a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So cool.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, so lip ink is magic. It's like, because everyone's like, how did you? You're like, wow.
Oh, well.
I wrote with masking fluid, and then I did it because I really have good penmanship, and then I inked it, and then I rubbed it off with an eraser. No, or you do lip ink, but that's what's unique. Lip ink was always designed to lift, but knowing that if you're going to use a stamp, you can actually stamp what you've lifted is just a bonus. It's really cool because what I stamp with, this blue, is permanent. I mean, alcohol ink is permanent, so once I stamped it, that's immediately a waterproof ink. Yeah. Yeah, so many cool things that we can do with alcohol inks in different ways, whether we're applying them or using the alloys or using isopropyl alcohol or using a protractor or just switching up our surface. Yeah, I can't wait to see what people start doing with all this stuff. That's good. Yeah, thanks you guys. That was fun. That was good fun.
I feel so much less intimidated now.
Yeah, because honestly, if you only used glossy cardstock, I will say that I channeled that because glossy cardstock's not forgiving. It's porous. When you put it on glossy, you're like, ooh, I hate it. You're going to hate it more because it just becomes muddier and muddier. But something synthetic like a Yupo, knowing that you can just add more solvent and totally change it. Like right now, if I sprayed it with this, that's gone. It's a total do-over. And that's what I love about just playing around with different tools, leaving these open, because you can see by having them right there at my disposal, you're just more free to like, oh, I'll just do a splash of this, a splash of that. But if you just do it and you're like, that's good, I don't really like it. Yeah. But I'll be honest, I haven't really used much isopropyl in the past. I've pretty much been blending solution. But blending solution has the same drying time as this. So I was getting motion, but not enough. Like I would move it around and it would just stop. And I'm like, is that really that different? Like it's just a solvent. And then I tried it and I thought, this is totally different.
So cool.
It is totally different. But then I thought, well then do I need this? And it's like, yeah, I do, because sometimes I want a little bit more control and not so much fluidness or transparency. I want it to bond. So it just became another ingredient. And there's so much education out there now for alcoholic. Yeah, I mean there's a whole alcoholic community I joined. You have to pay to join it, but it was worth it because it's all classes. It's very interesting. So there's a community that's free, and there's a society that you pay. It was like $100 for a lifetime membership, and I was like, can I get like a sneak peek? Like what am I paying for? But Sharon Harris, who's doing the painting over there, she's part of the society as well. And I'm like, what is it? She goes, it's all classes. So in the community, people would do like on the other side, like alcohol ink painting, and they're like, ooh, what did you use? And they're like, I used alcohol ink. In the society, they're like, all video, totally free. Like, let me share. Like, they're sharing. Here's how I painted. Here's when I dripped this. I use this with a coffee stirrer. And I'm like, dude, this is like lifetime classes. I mean, everything from painting and resin pouring, and yeah, I'm a newbie. I mean, I've only been in it for like 3 weeks, but it's just interesting. I mean, I have a lot to catch up on, but I thought that was really interesting way to do groups. I was going to share it with you. So I'm like, that's really interesting because there's people that want to just share, and then there's people that kind of make a living teaching that want to share. So I was going to share, and I'm like, do the society people that teach, like, do they get like a cut of the membership fees? I don't know. Because we all need to learn how. Like, I want to learn how to do stuff, and I'm so grateful to people that just openly share their tips and tricks.
Yeah, like you, Tim.
Yeah, I know, but all the makers too. I mean, gosh, all my makers that do stuff, I'll be like, how'd you? They're like, oh, it's easy. I just did this. I'm like, that's so nice to share and say what it is, because yeah, right, Vicky? Right, crazy chick? That is her name. Her blog is That Crazy Chick, and every time. Yeah, I'm telling you, like, and every time I face her, I'm like, oh, that's from That Crazy Chick, and they're like, rude. Like, that's her name, like, that's her blog, like, that's her social media. Like, you forgot her name and you said, it's That Crazy Chick. But yeah, I think that's really also important, is that the more we just share an idea, like even down to protractor, like, you know, Jennifer said, well, that's just stupid, like, it's just a trick. I don't need to tell people how to do that. But you do, because that idea can inspire a whole different way of thinking. That, yeah, I didn't do it the way she did it. I did it and then grunge it up, but I like that. And the more we can do that as an industry, the better we are. Yeah, I say it every time. It's not about followers, not about numbers, not about likes, not about any of that. So people that go, oh, I don't make any, I'm not good like that, I don't want to share. I'm like, if you just put something on paper, share it. Because people might look at that and go, what colors did you use? That's beautiful. I would have never thought of putting those colors together. And to you, it was super insignificant. You didn't make anything out of it. I mean, look, I just demoed. I kept you entertained for an hour. I made nothing. I made nothing. But sometimes you don't have to make anything. Sometimes you just need to be like, wow, I never realized the ink could move that way, or I never thought to put colors on that way, or I really like using that, or spraying alcohol. Those little ideas, the more we share the insignificance, the more significant it becomes. It's the truth.
That's really cool.
It really is. So, there you go.